time.
He's the Alouettes' big play receiver, Deron Carter, and has the capability to blow a game open off the arm of Jonathan Crompton up against, well, the top defender in the CFL West, maybe the entire league, maybe the outstanding player in the entire CFL, Solomon Elamimian. He's up for that award as well. The award he wants is the Grey Cup. On the road there to get it back to Vancouver. It starts in Montreal, and welcome to the CFL playoffs on TSN. Rod Smith, Milt Stegall, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz for game one of a doubleheader later on from Commonwealth in Edmonton, Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on the Eskimos. But first up in this game, they split the season series, Milt. Pick out a key. What are you looking for in this game today?
Well, we talk about football being the ultimate team sport, in which it is, but I think one player controls the outcome of this game, and that's Stephon Loken. And it's based on what he does or what he can't do. And if he can have a big game, the BC Lions will definitely win this game. But if this Montreal Alouette defense can shut him down, it's going to be difficult for them to win because he can do so much. He brings so much to this offense. He can be a great special teams player. It all depends on how well or not well he plays, I think, the outcome of this game.
Milton, I think 5 players determined this game. That's a secondary for the Montreal Alouettes. They took the ball away as a collective group on defense 47 times. That's the highest in the Canadian Football League. They shut down Ricky Ray in the 3 games that they played Toronto. Ray, on average, threw for 199 yards. If the secondary of Montreal, with their ability to clutch, grab, and make sure disrupting the routes of the receivers, make plays like that, then I think these Alouettes have a great chance to move on. Yes, one player is key, but I'm looking at those 5 guys.
So you're talking Montreal defense?
You bet.
Now I'm going to talk BC defense, and they're getting healthy. And now the last couple of weeks, aberration. What didn't happen for the BC Lions. It's been a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde football team all season long, but their defense, if you eliminate the last 2 weeks, has been outstanding, and they're getting healthy. You get Alex Bazzi back, Eric Taylor back, Kareem Smith back, and Adam Big Hill. I'm telling you, this football team shut down Montreal this season. In the 2 contests, 31 offensive possessions, because of guys like that, they held Montreal to just 1 touchdown offensively. That's outstanding defense. Defense is going to be the name of the game today.
Absolutely. Big Hill missed the last game of the regular season. He needed hand surgery. Just that one game has a cast on it. So, yeah, the additions, big players coming back for the BC Lions. They lost in Montreal 24-9 in week 2. They bounced back 2 weeks later. They won 41-5. The rubber match, the biggest one, to see who goes to Hamilton for the Eastern Final. It's playoff time. Kickoff coming up at McGill. Stick around.
Thank you, Rod. The Grey Cup 2 weeks away in Vancouver today. The postseason road begins in Montreal. The BC Lions cross over to tackle the Montreal Alouettes in the 2014 Eastern semifinals. Some light snow this morning, but ideal conditions this afternoon.
For the Montreal Alouettes, Jonathan Crompton took over after Game 8. The team at that time was 1-7, and Crompton proceeded to lead the Alouettes to an 8-2 finish of the regular season. Maybe more importantly, 5-0 here in Montreal at home. The University of Tennessee product makes his first playoff start today. And for the BC Lions, Kevin Glenn is in start number 11 in the CFL playoffs. He is 4-6, has been labeled the best insurance policy in football. Started all but 1 game for the BC Lions this year and went 8-9 on the season.
So the Lions finished 9-9 under Mike Benavides this year, outscored 70-19 in their last 2 games. But he told the team this week that it's now a clean slate, and they need 2 wins in the East to return home to be part of the Grey Cup in Vancouver. And there's Tom Higgins, first team to finish 500 after being 6 games under at a point in the season. There you see the finish, 8 wins in the last 10. They lost 6 in a row and won 6 in a row, and because of that 8-2 record, has told his team, we've been in playoff mode for 10 weeks now, so we're ready. When we mentioned the dusting of snow that we had this morning, and the crew here at Percival Molson did a great job to get the field ready for this game. And now the temperature is above 0 and the wind light, although it could become a factor later today. But hats off to the folks at McGill for getting this field ship-shape today. Neither team has won a playoff game since they last won the Grey Cup. The Montreal Alouettes since 2010, and the BC Lions since their last Cup victory in 2011.
Well, uphill battle for the BC Lions, Chris. It's only 3 teams in the last 20 years have finished 3rd place in their division and won the Grey Cup. Only 4 have made it to the game in those 20 years, and the last time that the BC Lions won here in Montreal was back in September of 2010. So an uphill battle for Mike Benavides, but once you get into the tournament, that's all that matters. You got a shot.
These two franchises know all about getting here. As you can see, the 2nd and 3rd longest consecutive playoff streaks continue this year with the Alouettes 19 consecutive, the BC Lions 18, and so evenly matched over the years. We had a couple of lopsided games for each team this year as they split, and they seem to split every year. 7th consecutive year the two teams have split their regular season meetings. And over the years have been a lot of high-scoring wild games, an overtime game or 2. I don't think we're expecting high-scoring wild today.
Well, it's been the year of the defense, so we'll see when it comes to playoff football and whether or not these quarterbacks can step up. Jonathan Crompton is so young from Montreal and has done a great job for Tom Higgins turning this team around in the back half of the season, again going 8-2. Interesting to note that the crossover was put into effect back in 1996. In 97, it was the first year of the crossover. That year, the BC Lions played right here against Montreal, lost that game.
Teams that have a lot in common, great defenses, a couple of receivers for both in the top 10. There's Tim Brown, who will be in the lineup today as a special teams returner, the backup to Stefan Logan. And a little bit of a surprise because earlier in the week he was saying he wasn't making the trip. Instead, to get him on the roster, Paul McCallum will do all the kicking for the BC Lions today. And Brown gets an opportunity as the return man.
Well, it's time. Let's play some playoff football.
That's what Solomon Elamimian said yesterday. He said, we all know what time it is. Time to play in the postseason. Sean White, the former Lions, got it on the tee, and here we go. Brown and Iannuzzi were back, and it will be Tim Brown from his 10. And he's cut down before he gets to the 30-yard line. A good downfield tackle by James Tuck, the rookie out of York. Starters to watch are brought to you by Napa Auto Parts, where custom advice comes standard.
Kevin Glenn 8-9 this year with the BC Lions, his 11th career playoff start, 4-6. There is number 1 receiver this year has been Manny Arsenal, the Manny Show, as you heard in the pregame. And Stefan Logan coming off that last game of the year against Calgary, over 100 yards for Logan.
They did pass for over 300 last week against Calgary, and an opening play pass is complete to Sean Gore, who played his college football at Bishop's.
Take a look at the starters to watch for the Montreal Alouettes defensively, and the finalist for Defensive Player out of the East is Bear Woods at middle linebacker. We'll watch him against Logan. John Bowman led the team in sacks and is the career active leader. And Chip Cox, of course, the Defensive Player of the Year in 2013.
7 for Gore, 2nd and 3, and here is Logan, and Logan will have the first down up at the 40-yard line. Stefan Logan last year, a couple of 100-yard rushing games in the postseason, 153 and 130.
Well, this is a matchup that I want to watch all afternoon. It's going to be the run games for both of these teams, whether or not the offensive lines can get on the second level and take care of some of these linebackers. We're watching 2 of the best linebackers in the CFL in Bear Woods and Solomon Elamimian here in this game today.
First down, back to Logan. Nice move, second level. And Logan up to the 48, close to the 49, a 9-yard pickup. He had 2 100-yard playoff rushing games in 08, and last year in Saskatchewan, he had another and comes off 117 last week.
Yeah, should have fresh legs. A good game against Calgary and the loss last week against the Stampeders. Showed great speed. He can bounce it to the outside. We'll see how Bear Woods tracks him down here today.
got some options here on 2nd and 1, but they stay on the ground, and Logan's got another first down. First contact made by Alan Michael Cash, the defensive tackle who had to miss last week when he strained a calf in the warm-up, and Tom Higgins told us he is a key man on that defense.
Well, the interior of your defensive line is where run stopping begins. You can get to push up that middle. It makes it tough for the running backs. They have to bounce early.
First and 10, a 5-receiver set. We're going to stay with Logan. Cross midfield. And down to the Alouette 50-yard line. 7 more good first down run production for Stefan Logan and the Lions.
Well, I love the game plan for the BC Lions early. Just establish Stefan Logan. Run play after run play from Kahari Jones, wanting to get that offensive line settled in, have them fire off the ball early. Playoff football, the intensity goes up. The contact, the physicality goes up. He wants to get those offensive linemen settled in.
Alouettes 5th ranked against the run this year. 2nd and 3. It'll be Tim Brown. Shakes a tackle. Burkowski had a shot at him. Couldn't bring him down, and now Brown has run for another Lion first down.
Yeah, Tim Brown making a couple of Alouettes miss, or this may have been a loss, and the Lions are punting. There's a one-on-one, and now you want in that one situation for your running back to make one guy miss. He makes Brian Bukowski miss in the open field and picks up first down territory.
First down, stay with it on the ground, and Tim Brown this time is stopped by Burkowski.
Defensive coordinator Noel Thorpe, now he's seen enough of the run game. What does he do there? He sends Chip Cox. Basically a run blitz on first down to put Kevin Glenn into his first real true passing situation early in this game.
Lions did have a 153-yard rush game against the Alouettes, who conceded 100 plus 10 times this year. And we're 3 and 7 when the opposition rushed for 100 plus. 2nd and 9. Pressure gets to Glenn, and down he goes. Kairis Hebert has the sack. The angry bird ends the drive.
First down success, always so important, and when the Alouettes make a play on first down and put Kevin Glenn into his first passing situation, it's Kairis Hebert coming right off the edge, untouched, is not blocked, only 4-man pressure. Stefan Logan looked like he was supposed to be the guy to pick him up. He got caught in the mix, and Hebert was free.
So we mentioned no Ricky Schmidt today as they go with Tim Brown as a designated import. So Paul McCallum, double duty, and putting the football away to Marty Gilliard. And off the side of his foot. That's a problem. There won't be a return, but a short boot gives the Alouettes much better field position than they would have expected. Just a 17-yard punt for Paul McCallum. And Jonathan Crompton gets set to go to work in his first Canadian Football League playoff start. King opening drive for the Lions, an 8-play drive. Looked like they have good field position, but a 17-yard punt sets things up for the Alouettes. And the first handoff, Brandon Rutley is met rudely by Jabbar Westerman in the backfield and dropped for a loss.
Brandon Rutley, one of the starters to watch here for Montreal offensively. He gets the start because Terrell Sutton yesterday, we were told, was not ready due to an ankle injury suffered in the last game of the regular season. Jeff Parrott, double nominee for the Montreal Alouettes, both as outstanding lineman and outstanding Canadian. And there is Jonathan Crompton, first playoff start.
So second down flag on the play. Looked like the Lions might have been offside, and the man voted the best hands in the Canadian Football League drops the first pass from Crompton. S.J. Green should have had it, and they'll likely get a redo as it looked like the Lions had jumped.
Offside. BC number 53. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's Alex Bazzi back in the lineup. Got last week off. The rookie defensive end maybe a little jittery in his first playoff start.
Yeah, I got a rest last week, and for S.J. Green, he gets to shake that off early. He gets a do-over. Get rid of that one right out of the gate.
3 catches, 66 in the 2 games against the Lions early in the season. Pocket collapsing on Crumpton, and the pass sails high, intended for the rookie fullback J.C. Beaulieu out of Sherbrooke.
Covering him was Solomon Elamimian, finalist for Outstanding Player, Outstanding Defensive Player in the CFL this year, and of course now holds the record for tackles in a single season. He was in perfect coverage there on the fullback out of the backfield.
So Sean White with the wind at his back. Tim Brown from the Lion 30. And he'll move ahead 7 yards to the 37. Brought down there by Jared Zaleski. 43-yard punt, 7 on the return. Kevin Glenn had things going on the ground on the first drive of the game. We'll see if he can make the offense go here in the first quarter. Second possession for the Lions will start at their 37. And they make on the ground to Logan and overthrow the big fullback, Rolly Lambala, the top Canadian. Incomplete, 2nd and 10. Kevin Glenn, the starter, and Travis Lulay available today as the backup.
Yeah, he's in the number 2 hole. John Beck was not available because of concussion issues from last week. So Lulay was warming up, looked good throwing in warm-up. He'll be available. Mike Benavides told us yesterday he wants to ride Kevin Glenn. Hopes he doesn't have to make a switch.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, pass is caught. But Logan's going to get stopped short of the first down, up at the 43.
And the matchups between these two teams early in the year, and talking to both of them, they have said there's been so many changes and differences in what they do, both offensively. BC Lions changing up their offense, and it's evolved as the season has gone on. And same can be said for the Montreal defense. Start out playing a lot of man, more aggressive. Over the last half of the season, more zone defenses.
So the teams trade 2 and out. It's a better punt by McCallum, but still Gilliard attacks it and is up over the 40-yard line. BC Lion coach Mike Benavides told us yesterday wanted to win the special teams battle and thought that would be critical here today. There is a flag on that last punt return.
Illegal block. Montreal number 11. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So the penalty against Chip Cox. Montreal gets set to go on offense. The number 3 receiver in the CFL this year, the explosive Duron Carter. Defensive star and the outstanding player nominee for the West, and a record-breaking season for Solomon Elamimian.
143 tackles on the year. 6 games, Solomon Elamimian was in double figures in tackles.
Here's the jet sweep to Gilliard. The speedster gets over the 40-yard line. A late flag comes down as Gilliard's taken out at the 42, close to the first down. So good first down production by Gilliard, and it looks like they'll tack on a penalty against the Lions. Gilliard, just 1 game this year, was
Major
hurt.
foul, horse collar tackle. BC number 26, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So Gordon Parks draws the flag, and that will march it into BC territory.
The Lions in the secondary, Gordon Parks has led the secondary in tackles. He just gets in behind Gilliard and then grabs the shoulder pads as he's falling down behind him. Correct call is made and gives the Alouettes better field position.
Gilliard hurt in his debut on August 1st against Toronto. Here's Rutley, and he hits it hard and straight ahead and has to be gang tackled at the 45-yard line, close to 8 for Brandon Rutley.
Last game of the regular season for BC against the Calgary Stampeders. They didn't play their starting defensive line, so Kareem Smith is back in the starting lineup. He led the team in sacks with 11. Adam Bighill did not play in the last game because of an injured hand. He is back with a cast on and in the starting lineup here this afternoon. Of course, Solomon Elimimian, leading tackler in the CFL and record breaker.
Short yardage offense comes on, second and about 1.5 yards for Tanner Marsh, and the plunge ahead behind the right guard Ryan Bombin. Didn't get much of a surge there, and gets up to survey whether or not he has enough.
Eric Taylor at the bottom of that file, and he did have just enough to get the first down. Solomon Elimimian over the top. 143 tackles. Brandon Smith had a huge year. Out of the secondary, 85 tackles. There's Bear Woods, who go against Elimimian when it comes to defensive player of the year, and Solomon Elimimian ran away with the title this year.
Broke the record by 13 tackles. Here again, Rutley just inside the 40. Looked like Khalif Mitchell. First contact is Mitchell into the lineup again. Another DI, is that's the way Mike Benavides went with his designated imports this week. Khalif Mitchell's in, and Tim Brown.
Yeah, had a pretty good final game of the year against Calgary, and he gets back on his game. He can disrupt that run game for Montreal. We talked about the interior defensive tackles and how important they are in run defense.
Those were the options instead of Ricky Schmidt and Lavache Tuane. Josh Bork out of his stance early, and he took a crack from Kareem Smith as well, but flags fly.
Eastern All-Star Josh Burke at left tackle. He took a hit there after moving a little bit early.
7th straight year as an Eastern All-Star.
Procedure, Montreal number 59. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
They banged pretty good. This is Kareem Smith now. He rested last week as well against Calgary for the BC Lions, and there's the early movement from Josh Burke, and then some playoff contact for you.
Yeah, we heard that up here. 2nd and 11, Crompton to throw, and it's delivered high and incomplete, intended for S.J. Green. And Ryan Phillips nearly had a shot at the deflection.
Ball a little bit high, but a nice play by J.R. LaRose, the safety, to come underneath that and force a tough window here for Jonathan Crompton to try and get it into S.J. Green. You see the nice jump there from the safety, number 27, J.R. LaRose, and then Ryan Phillips almost had the tip.
Interesting here, the Alouettes will not attempt a 51-yard field goal with the wind at the back of Sean White. Tied for the league lead and punts inside the 10. That's what he's looking for here. And this one will bounce into the end zone, so not the result that White was looking for. Brown will pick it up and concede the single point to Rouge for Sean White. 61 yards to get the Alouettes the first point of this Eastern semifinal. Defense, Solomon Elimimian, the best defensive player in the Canadian Football League, and with more, here's Matthew Shinetti.
CC, just to go ahead and build upon what you were talking about before the break, after he was nominated the West MOP, Solomon Elimimian brought his defensive teammates together and thanked them all and saying, listen guys, whatever I earn this year, it's about us. It's an award for all of us. And then he gave each of his teammates an envelope with a president's side. Khalif Mitchell told me yesterday that just showed the family atmosphere on the team. Mike Benavides then told me that reminded him of something Cameron Wake did when he won his Defensive Player of the Year awards all those years ago. And it proves to him again that not only does he have great athletes, but he has great people. Guys?
We've seen the maturation of Elimimian on the field, and the Lions have remarked on how it's happened off the field as well.
Great player, but has become a great leader.
1st and 10 BC, back to Logan. Arm tackle doesn't bring Stephen Logan down, and he's up across the 40 and close to 7.
Well, the best insurance policy in the business is Kevin Glenn, and that's what the Lions got when they signed him. It's been an up and down career for Glenn, ranked 8th all-time in passing yards. His last Grey Cup appearance was as a Calgary Stampeder in 2012, has not won the championship. 4
0-6 as a starter in the postseason. 2nd and 3. They fake the Logan and get it out in the flat. Gore's got a first down catch. Brought down by the veteran Gerald Brown.
Has played well against the Montreal Alouettes in the playoffs. Had a couple of games, semifinals against the Alouettes. The Hamilton Tiger Cat game was a monster game in 2011. 52-44 the final in that one. Kevin Glenn just shy of 300. Anthony Calvillo in that game, by the way, threw for over 500 yards and lost.
We're not getting 96 points today, my friend. Pass there for Arsenault is incomplete.
Now it's been a different kind of year. Scoring is down. Defenses have won. We've had double figures in players in double figures in sacks, including John Bowman for the Montreal Alouettes, who is, of course, their leader. And when it comes to playoff time, you expect your best players to play big. They have to for you to win.
John Bowman told me yesterday he thinks this is the best defense they've had in Montreal since their 2009 Grey Cup winners. 2nd and 10. Glenn going through the options and overshoots Keto Pobla, who was open in the flat for a moment before Jeff Tisdale recovered.
I'll show you the coach's playbook before the game began. Showed you a little bit of a stunt where you're going to see the Alouettes go like this and Bowman come on that inside stunt. They'll do this quite often, the Montreal defensive line, to try and get him set up to maybe create some mismatches. That time picked up well by the Lions offensive line.
Another short kick by McCallum, but no return as it bounces out around the 30-yard line. So the Lions will be the most traveled team if they get to the Grey Cup. We asked number 56 whether this was the easier route.
There's no easy path. There's no easy path. You know, it's playoff football, and any team can win on any given day. You know, the easy path is one where you have to play every game. It's hard. Understand that you lose, you go home. You win, you continue. And every team that has earned the right to play for that Grey Cup is a good team. So, you know, we have to come with it, and we're excited, you know, and being in the dance. We have a chance to get this thing.
Got Jonathan Crumpton in trouble here and bring him down.
Boy, he took a hit there, too.
He's looks a little wobbly as he gets back to his feet. And Elimimian was in the vicinity.
Yes, he was. He closed quickly. There was time to throw for Crompton, not an open receiver. You could see he takes a pretty hard hit there from both Bazzi and Elimimian. Took a while to kind of shake that off.
Yeah, and he's gone to the sidelines. Tanner Marsh is going to come in. Often does in short yardage, but this is going to be 2nd and 12. And Crompton needs a chance to collect himself on the sidelines.
Training staff not talking to him, though.
And Tanner Marsh is going to take off. It opened up for him, and he'll run for a first down across the 40. Well, the Lions don't need any introductions to Marsh Madness. Remember a couple years ago.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is a called play, and obviously this is a special package for Tanner Marsh here. Called quarterback draw. Sold well by Jonathan Crompton to look like he was shaken up a little bit, go to the sideline as if he had to regroup. Tanner Marsh comes on, but clearly that was a called play for Marsh.
A couple of years ago, Marsh came in and rallied the Alouettes from a deficit for a last-second win. Elimimian tipped it, but it's caught by Brandon London. Elimimian had an interception in the last week of the season off a tip, but this time London says thank you very much.
Yeah, has one on the season. Should have had one here. It was in this throwing lane. He dropped underneath that one nicely, but the ball hot and high, and he was only able to get one hand on it, and London just kept with it.
Tackle for Elimimian, but London, who had his best game last week, 4 catches, 87 yards in the loss against Hamilton, has a catch and a first down, and now they go up top to run. Carter can't make the catch. It was catchable ball as he got in behind Cord Parks.
Well, 2 All-Stars for Jonathan Crompton in the receiving corps. One is Deron Carter, who one of just 3 players with 1,000 yards this year in the CFL. He drops the first attempt to him and had a shot at it right through his hands. And the other all-star in the receiving corps was S.J. Green, who dropped the opening throw from Jonathan Crompton. So both all-stars getting that drop out early.
Lions trying to stay away from the big play, drop pass, or that would have been one for Montreal. Jim Brown on the return. And up across the 30 to the 32. Again, James Tuck has a special team tackle. Just underway in this one. Stay tuned. The CFL on TSN action continues immediately following this game. The Western semifinal. And the Rough Riders and the Eskimos from Commonwealth. A couple of outstanding player nominees there. So barring a penalty, the final play of the opening quarter as BC scrimmages at their 32. Play action fake, a pass over the middle intended for Arsenault is incomplete. And Chip Cox and Arsenault get tangled up a bit. Sean Gore in there as well as the temperature rises a bit on the final play of the opening quarter. We expected a defensive battle. It looks like that's what we're in for. It's 1-0 Alouettes after 1 in Montreal. First quarter, because it felt like the Lions established the running game, and in Montreal had a couple of chances passing the ball that they let slip away.
Yeah, the BC Lions 32 yards rushing for Stephon Logan. Clearly he's the focal point of the offense. Had the first 7 touches of that first drive for the BC Lions, but they didn't get anything out of it. And you're right, Jonathan Crompton looked pretty good in that first quarter, I thought, but 2 drops. S.J. Green in the first throw, and that last one to Deron Carter. He has probably 80, 100 yards passing in that first quarter.
So hang in there. We may get some points. As we start the second quarter, it'll be 2nd and 10 for BC.
2nd and 10.
5 receivers, and Rolly Lambala, the big fullback, stays in to help protect. A pump from Glenn, who's in some trouble, and he'll just throw it away. Look out! Picked off! Gerald Brown's got it as Glenn was rushed and put it up for grabs.
Yeah, no question. He tried to throw that away and just didn't get enough on it. He was falling away because of the pressure. Trying to just throw it into an open space, and the Alouettes close quickly. Gerald Brown comes up with the first big play of this football game. The perennial all-star at halfback makes another big play, and again, an Eastern All-Star this year for the Montreal Alouettes.
17 interceptions tossed by Glenn in the regular season. It was an issue then, and it becomes an issue here because the Alouettes take over at the BC 23. 6-year vet, 3rd Eastern All-Star. And Crompton and the Owls are set up. Rutley takes the handoff off the left side, and he'll get brought down quickly. Eric Taylor, the big man, back in at defensive tackle.
It'll be tough running for Brandon Rutley out of San Jose State. He was a slow starter in college. First 3 years didn't have big numbers, but a good senior year. His best game against UCLA, so he's played some great competition. Had a coffee with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and has been on the practice roster here in Montreal. Gets his chance to play because Terrell Sutton is out of the lineup. If Montreal advances, they may have Sutton available next week.
No second down. Crompton sets up. May have got hit, and it is intercepted. Back the other way. Cord Parks comes up with the football, and Parks gets away. And finally brought down by Brandon London. So they trade now interceptions here in this first half, as Crompton looked like his arm was hit as he released the football. And Parks, who had 1 during the regular season, has a postseason interception.
core for the BC Lions. Josh Johnson gets his hand on the throwing arm of Jonathan Crompton here. That causes the issues. That's where the ball floats and is picked off by Cord Parks. Now immediately Jonathan Crompton went to the locker room to get attended to by the training staff, and Alex Brink is right now warming up on the Alouettes sideline.
Keep our eyes on that. Right now, however, Lions back to work on offense, and here's Logan, able to duck under that first wave and surge ahead for 4. Bottom of the pile, John Bowman with the tackle. So Alex Brink starts to warm up. It was a 2-quarterback system at the start. It changed in Winnipeg in Game 8 when Crompton claimed the job, but Brink may be called back into duty here today. 2nd and 6. Here comes the pressure over the middle. Logan can't make the catch. Bear Woods was in the area, and Logan bobbles it, and on cue, Jonathan Crompton returns to the sideline.
Yeah, he just went in to get some adjustments made and came back out, warmed up again, loosened up. We'll see Jonathan Crompton back in there. Good job by the BC defense on the sudden change after the interception by Kevin Glenn in their own end to hold Montreal 0 points on the sudden change.
McCallum first punt with the wind at his back. Gilliard at his 35. High steps it back on the near side, but there is a flag that is likely going to negate a good return up around the 53. 41-yard punt. 18 on the return. But this one is coming back.
During the return, holding, Montreal number 36. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Daryl Townsend back in the lineup. Good special teams man who is flagged. So Duron Carter and the Owls going back on offense. Matthew Shinetti with an update on Carter when we come back. Here again, Matthew Shinetti.
Absolutely, CC. You know, it pays a lot to have a father like Hall of Famer Chris Carter, who tells his son, listen, yeah, to be great, it's about repetition and focus. And this season, no one in the Alouettes questions Carter's focus or his maturity or his work ethic. But Carter admitted to us yesterday that the game is slowing down for him a bit, but he's still thinking when he's trying to catch the ball. But his father always tells him, when you're catching the ball and the moves are robotic, that's when you know you're at the top of your game. Guys?
Well, he and S.J. Green, the last 7 games of the year, got hot.
Well, it's muscle memory, and that's what he's talking about. If you're going to go and make one-handed spectacular catches in a game, if you expect to do that, then you have to do it in practice too and get your body used to the movement that is necessary. So that's the advice from Duron Carter's father, Chris, and boy, he's had a great season.
And don't let that drop bother you. Would have been a tough catch, but one we've seen him make countless times. And off inside, there's Chris Rainey, the other Alouette running back on the roster today. Rainey out of Florida, who has seen action in the last 5 games. He's the scat back. Rutley, a little more north-south for the Alouettes on their attack, running the football. Rainey, the MVP of the Gators in 2011, part of a NCAA championship team in 2009. 2nd and 3. We'll give it back to Rainey, nothing doing. Eric Taylor with the stop at the line of scrimmage.
Again, with those 2 drops, Jonathan Crompton in the first quarter had much better numbers. I think he looks real calm for his first start in the playoffs. I asked Mike Benavides about how he would attack and approach Jonathan Crompton in that it's his first start. He said, you know, I don't think you can rattle him. Played in some big games in college football. And
39 starts at Tennessee. 2 for 6, but a pair of drops so far. Sean White wants the understudy to Paul McCallum. Fielded at the 25 by Brown, and he is brought down right away. Dominique Ellis has the special team tackle after a 35-yard punt into the breeze. Still 1-0 Alouettes. Purelator people know an important stat when they see one, because the 3 teams that didn't make the postseason, Toronto, Winnipeg, Ottawa, the 3 bottom teams on that list.
Yes, sir. Getting after the quarterback or protecting the quarterback. Key to winning.
Sacks up 1.2 a game this year. Here's Logan on first down. And he runs into traffic as Gabriel Napton back in the lineup after missing the last 3 with a knee injury. We'll see him in spot duty today.
Yeah, not sure how much he'll play here this afternoon, but they want to get him back into the rotation. The nominee for outstanding rookie for the Montreal Alouettes.
Sacks, 1 against the Lions. And they'll pin their ears back here on 2nd and 8. Glenn gets it away quickly and incomplete to the flat, and Mitchell White, the corner, was lurking there. The pass intended for Kito Pobla.
I'm going to have to kick it away, and it was a great battle between Gabriel Napton and Javon Olafiore on that last 2nd and long. And watch the tackle against rush end here. Try to make an inside move. Olafiore gets some help. Logan sneaks under and in between them, and he keeps Napton right on the line of scrimmage. A little playoff football in the trench is going to get fired up. Gabriel Napton coming out next series.
A right cross at the end of that. So the defensive duel continues. Not a deep kick. Gilliard going to step right to midfield before he's brought down by Keenan Parker. No flag this time. So Jonathan Crompton and the Owls. Great field position.
Well, they've been chipping away at that field position so far in this game. 1.5 played, and they're starting to move the ball. Now every time there's an exchange of the punts, getting a little closer.
That was a gamble that Mike Benavides took in this game, leaving Ricky Schmidt at home. There's Ryan Dinwiddie calling the plays upstairs. And this offense all started to gel when Jeff Garcia joined the offensive brain trust. Crompton steps up, and he gets tripped up by Elamimian as he crosses midfield.
But a good decision. A good decision by Jonathan Crompton. And that was a question I had for both Jeff Garcia and Crompton, was about trying to be patient and make sure you don't force things if it's not there. Solomon Elamimian is going to make the tackle here. He's coming on inside stunt, and then he's going to break off of that and make the tackle from behind. But a good decision by Crompton not to force it. The coverage was good downfield. Garcia told me yesterday, if anything he can get to Crompton for this game was be patient. Take what they give you.
2nd and 8. Here comes Heat. They'll dump it off. And it's Rutley. Cuts it back. Breaks the tackle and has a first down at the 40-yard line.
There's an example of that north-south running that Tom Higgins said that he liked about Brandon Rutley. He gets him outside on this little delayed screen, and Rutley doesn't take much time at all to get him his pad level heading down north-south and heading downfield. They're just a little screen. They get Christian Matt out in front of him.
So first down at the BC 40 into the hands of fake to Rutley and a completion. High pit.
Got me
SJ
too.
Green's got the catch.
Yeah, got me too. That's great play action fake by Jonathan Crompton to ride it there and then pull the ball late in the process, and it was well executed. Just riding the side, hold Kareem Smith, the defensive end, buy yourself an extra second and get the throwing lane to SJ Green.
7 for Green, 2nd and 3. There's that fake again, and another Completion to Green. Catch is made just inside the coverage of Dante Marsh.
835 yards in the regular season for S.J. Green. He got that drop out and the jitters out in the first throw of the game, and now he's made a couple of contested ones. This is a nice matchup. Deron Carter is trying to pick on Dante Marsh. Marsh cuts underneath, is in pretty good position, but S.J. Green wins that battle.
In the last 7 games, Green had 517 yards receiving. Carter had 520.
Tight ends.
As they both improved their stats with Crompton. There's Carter down to the 20. Short gain for Deron Carter on that hitch.
Different formation offensively for Montreal. It's Ryan Dinwiddie and Jeff Garcia mixing things up. They go with a tight end, double tight end set there. Crompton on the hitch screen, and I believe it's just another way to get the ball in the hands of their stars. That's back-to-back catches now for Green and then to Carter.
And 3 for 3 on the drive for Crompton, who will try to extend the drive here. 2nd and 8. Looks downfield, and that's intercepted at the goal line. There is a flag. And this one likely coming back. Adam Bighill with the interception, but there may have been pass interference in that secondary.
S.J. Green was trying to get in there on a dig route, and he's being covered by Cord Parks. And Cord Parks is arguing his case, but I think that's going to be the call.
And there's the spot.
Pass interference. BC number 26. Point of foul. Automatic. First down.
Let's have a look, because I believe the Lions have already challenged the call.
S.J. Green trying to run this dig route here. You see the jersey come down. He trips down, and because Cord Parks never really let go of him, I'm not sure Mike Benavides can win this challenge.
The Lions might argue that it's just one hand on his back there, and did S.J. Green just slip on the play?
I'll give you another look at it here. You can see him pull down the jersey right there.
BC is challenging the call of pass interference. We'll review the play.
And because Cord Parks never lets go, he didn't have to have pushed him to the ground. He could have tripped on his own, but Parks never let go of the jersey. I'm not sure Benavides can win this challenge. Again, for the first time ever, defensive pass interference can be reviewed in the Canadian Football League.
And the reason we have challengeable pass interference this year is because of a play in the Eastern semifinal a year ago in Guelph that involved the Alouettes in the final play of the game. Troy Smith looking into the corner. No pass interference. The Alouettes felt there was, and
after review, the call is on the field is confirmed. Pass interference. It'll be a first down.
That's why we can review. That was the big push, the final push. It's been talked about for about 5-6 years now. But the final push was because of that playoff game last year, and the call on the field confirmed. Interference on Cord Parks.
Had it been last year, it would have been 1st and goal at the 1 with one more play, and the Alouettes might have advanced. Right now, 1st and goal, end zone, touchdown, S.J. Green. First playoff touchdown tossed by Jonathan Crompton.
Nice job. Touch pass up over the top to S.J. Green, who beat a double team, basically split both Cord Parks and Dante Marsh to get to the corner of the end zone. Yeah, I don't think coaches are going to change this new rule. The ability to challenge defensive pass interference, I believe, is here to stay.
4 touchdowns in the regular season for Green. First touchdown of the East Semi. Catch the 7-play, 55-yard touchdown drive. And Crompton
watching this. He's going to turn up.
Was 5 for 5 on the drive, working Green against Cord Parks.
Well, I love how he worked with Deron Carter, too, his teammate. Carter's going to come in here, and then he's going to get nice and tight with S.J. Green, and Green splits it and heads to the corner of the end zone, and Parks is kind of frozen when they get in there tight. There goes on the split in between Dante Marsh and Cord Parks. Ball just touch pass up over the top to S.J. Green. And again, that was the pass interference call by Cord Parks that gave Jonathan Crompton one more try.
Good look at the eyes of Jonathan Crompton. Going to S.J. Green in the corner all the way for the first major of this Eastern semifinal with 5.5 minutes to go, first half. Here's Tim Brown. And he'll be stopped just across the 30. Nicholas Boulay, first man to get to Tim Brown. Now Kevin Glenn's got to get this BC Lions offense in gear.
Well, Kevin Glenn established the run in the first quarter. First 7 plays, running plays to Stephon Logan. So he's got that done. Can't abandon it now just because they've given up a major. But at some point, he's got to get Manny Arsenal or Ernest Jackson, the 2 big, tall targets for him in the receiving corps, down the field and take a shot. Try and loosen up the Montreal defense a little bit.
Double tight ends. Fake to Logan on a roll. Dumps it underneath to Gore with a flag in the secondary. Chip Cox was out there against Ernest Jackson. Not sure if that was the area of concern for the officials.
Illegal contact. Montreal number 17. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Billy Parker.
Yeah, he's on the matchup on Manny Arsenal here, and Arsenal is going to just try and run right through him. Parker steps up, contacts him. The initial contact right there is okay, but he hangs on to it too long.
Well, there's a change of pace here. We've got Travis Partridge into the game. Travis Lulay available. Thought we might see him next, but it's Partridge, and he'll keep. So a design play for Partridge to run for a first down at midfield. And that's probably not a play you're asking Travis Lulay to make today.
No, absolutely not. Or Kevin Glenn, for that matter, who runs a little bit, will use his legs to extend the play, but is not going to run the quarterback draw very often. And clearly, this is a design play to Travis Partridge. Fake that he sort of, about a half a fake to Tim Brown, and then design run right up the middle.
Saw Tanner Marsh, similar play in the first quarter. Now Glenn checks back in, first down at midfield. And he delivers high again. Intended for Arsenault, and Mitchell White there on the corner.
That's what I'm talking about this secondary. Billy Parker and Gerald Brown at the halfback spots. I'm watching them climb up on receivers and get a little closer. So was Mitchell White on that last throw, the corner to the wide field. As long as Kevin Glenn keeps throwing it underneath and intermediate, that secondary and those halfbacks will get tighter and tighter as the game goes on. Pretty soon, they got to get those guys deep in Manny Arsenal and Ernest Jackson.
7 consecutive incompletions for Kevin Glenn, including an interception. Throwing here, and he's got a completion. Ernest Jackson the catch. Offensive Player of the Month in October when he had a 195-yard game and a 149-yard game. Ottawa and Winnipeg in consecutive weeks.
Well, he's gonna fight through the jam from Winston Venable, the linebacker, and then work in behind him. That's basically a zone defense. Linebacker tries to jam the receiver at the line. He works in behind him and in front of Gerald Brown.
Number 9 was 9th in receiving this year. Sets up a line first down at the 34. And here's Tim Brown. Big hole for Brown. Crashing down to the 23. And Lion first down at the 3-minute warning. So the Lions finally getting some traction on offense. Partridge a run, a catch for Jackson, and a Brown first down.
Ready for the half. Thoughts on Kevin Glenn, Jonathan Crompton. Also Stephen Logan. We'll hear from James, Jock, and Lapo too. At the half in Montreal. Not over yet though. Back to Chris and Glenn. 8-0 Montreal.
He's got 2 minutes, 58 seconds to get the jacket on and get all time for halftime. Lions got something going here. First down. Alouette 22. Back to Brown, right side. He's going to throw. Looking for Arsenault in the end zone. Incomplete. Marc-Olivier Brouillette was there, the safety, to read the play and forced Brown to thread the needle a bit.
Another one of those for the playoffs only type plays designed by the BC Lions. Tim Brown, we've seen Manny Arsenault do this throughout the regular season. A game against Hamilton, he threw a touchdown pass. This time he's the intended receiver. Marc-Olivier Brouillette reacts just in time to get over there, or Manny Arsenault may have been able to work back to the football and come up with that catch.
Second and 10. Pressure. Glenn in trouble. Got it away, but then throws it into the turf incomplete. May have got his arm hooked on the play.
One thing that Kevin Glenn doesn't want to do, you talked about his interceptions early in the show, Chris, and about the fact that he's got 17 in the regular season. Against the Calgary Stampeders in the last game of the regular season, Kevin Glenn threw 2 in the score zone. He's got pressure off the edge from Kyrus Hebert. Avoids that pressure, and then I think he was just trying to throw that away. He didn't want to force it.
Kevin Glenn, the holder this week without Ricky Schmidt. He was walking off the field, but checks back in to spot it for Paul McCallum. Over 90% on the year. The Western All-Star gets BC on the board. It's 8-3. Second Grey Cup playoffs continue next Sunday. The Eastern and Western Division Finals. Live coverage kicks off from Hamilton at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the TSN network. Ticats awaiting the winner of this game. 14-4 Calgary Stampeders will host the Western Final against the winner of the Rough Riders and the Eskimos later today. Well, this has pretty well come as advertised so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. Again, there's been some yards, passing yards for Montreal. Missed because of drop passes early, but the receivers are now settled in. BC gets a little offense and a nice drive there after Crompton throws the touchdown pass to S.J. Green. So the offense is starting to get in gear a little bit now. And I'm wondering if the BC Lions are going to look to blitz Jonathan Crompton a little bit more and try and put some more pressure on him. Benavides said yesterday to us, he doesn't think you can rattle Jonathan Crompton. Wants to make him be patient.
The outstanding player in the West, also out on kick return cover. Here's Gilliard, and he'll be brought down at the 40-yard line.
Last drive by Jonathan Crompton. Completion percentage was there. He was 5 for 5, 44 yards. Had S.J. Green a couple of times in a hitch pass to Duron Carter. And again, he looked settled in and composed in his first start.
Jeff Garcia said he's a guy that goes with the flow, and when you got flow like that, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. If your hair's not happy, you're not. It's a good touchdown throw. And
playoff beard going on the sidelines. It's no coincidence this team really started to mesh when Jeff Garcia got involved. A counterplay here and a hole and a good one for Brandon Rutley. First down run of 13.
I like the fact that Brandon Rutley, when he's making his moves or trying to shake, he doesn't chop his feet to shake. He continues to move down the field. Gets a little help up front from the offensive line, that right side, and Ryan Bombin and Jeff Parrott. They get up into the second level. You get onto the linebacker, get a guard or a tackle up onto the second level of the linebacker, your run game has a chance.
Rutley again, straight ahead, breaks the tackle, and pounds it to the 44 of BC. Alouettes, a team that, without their top 2 running backs, that combined for 1,264 yards, but Rutley getting it done on back-to-back first down carries.
Alex Bazzi has a shot at him here, but Rutley, who's right behind in the basically I formation behind Crompton, he outruns the angle of Bazzi there. You can't arm tackle this back. Good size, 5'11", 200-pounder. Good, strong runner.
This time a fake to him. Green. That is a good catch. A drop early, but that's vintage S.J. Green.
Good catch and 2 successful running plays to Brandon Rutley. And now you go play action. Good play calling from Ryan Didwiney. Play action here, and look what it does. It holds Adam Bighill so that he can't drop into coverage and help out on that slant route to S.J. Green.
Pocket collapsing and throws incomplete.
Wow.
Cross body toss.
I was going to say, he definitely threw that pass away. But if you're going to throw the ball away and just line up in second down, you might not want to throw it into traffic like that. There were a couple of BC Lions lurking. We saw that Kevin Glenn get into trouble early in this game already because of that. But now do the Lions send pressure, or do they try and see if Crompton will dump it down?
2nd and 10. Carter and Green out together. Alouettes with the stuff on that little shovel to Rutley.
Oh, he saw that. Chris, I watched Solomon Alouettes from the snap of the football. Now
Ryan Phillips just got a terrible penalty.
And we'll see which way they call this. Ryan Phillips in the middle of it, but boy, what a read by Solomon Alouettes to see this play. Center screen, just dropped it off to Rutley, and he got there just as Rutley was catching it.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC number 21. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
10-year vet, and that is a costly penalty. The offense was walking off the field.
It takes a lot to rattle Ryan Phillips, and he's taking full responsibility. You could see him talking to his teammates, pointing to himself, saying, yeah, that's my fault. I lost my composure, but there they are right there now. Now Phillips is in there with Josh Burke.
Like he was trying to rattle Crompton a little bit. Burke said something to him and got a response that keeps the offense out there. Gilliard can't pull that high toss down. But now the defense is going to have to rally to try and bail out their veteran defensive halfback.
Mark Washington knows from Ryan Phillips that if the Alouettes want to go on that side of the field to the wide side halfback spot, that his veteran will make up for the mistake he just made.
40 career interceptions.
The active leader, if they go that side, you can bet 21 will be there.
2nd and 10. Throw over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown. Duran Carter.
Went right at him. And Carter comes up with it.
What are you doing? Good job. Y'all like it?
Offense allowed to stay on the field, and they attack Phillips for a big touchdown.
And he was in position in good coverage. He looked like he stumbled a little bit, and Carter made him pay on that slant route.
I'm keeping count. That's 2. All right, let's go.
So the dynamic duo each have a touchdown catch in this first half. S.J. Green earlier, now Duran Carter.
Well, about game Duran, and that's what he calls himself. He says it's a different personality when he gets into games than when he's off the field, but he's going one-on-one on Ryan Phillips, and watch what he does. Jam right to the face of Phillips, turns and makes him stumble, and he can't turn and react to get back into position. Duran Carter showing a little physicality in the one-on-one matchup. Went right at Ryan Phillips, and boy, throughout his career, because he's been able to play 10 years, every time he has been beat or made a mistake, Phillips has stepped up and made the play. The next opportunity, not this time. And he gets an earful from Mike Benavides on the sideline.
I'm catching this bitch at the goalpost. I said, all right, I'm going to trust you. I saw 2 man. Getting the ball back, we are now getting 1 point. I like it. 1 more.
So Mike Benavides' Lions have 69 seconds to respond here. Now down by 12. And that penalty cost them more than 15 yards. Tim Brown trying to give the offense some field position, and does. Takes a big hit at the end of it, and there is a flag as Brown was brought down at the 43-yard line by Venable. But we'll await the flag.
During the return, illegal block. BC number 24. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's Pascal Lochard out of Laval who is flagged. And we should congratulate our old friend Danny Bachocha and the Montreal Carabins for a stunning victory yesterday at Laval, ending a 70-game home win streak for the Rouge et Or in the Dunsmore Cup. Kevin Glenn stands in, throws incomplete off the fingertips of Marco Iannuzzi.
Tough catch for Iannuzzi to make. But Mike Benavides will say he has to come up with it, especially when the team is now struggling a little bit. Had a couple of penalties that cost him, one that turned into 7 points and another that took a good return by Tim Brown off the board, and he just sat down a little in the hole, went through both hands, and Iannuzzi had to come up with that one. He worked his way back to the starting lineup with great special teams work in the second half of the season.
Glenn just 4 of 14 for 41 yards so far. 2nd and 10. Over the middle, almost picked. Gerald Brown knocked it away from Ernest Jackson and runs into the end zone with what might have been.
Well, I call them the law firm of Brown and Parker because they represent 2 of the most consistent halfbacks in the Canadian Football League for the last 6 years. Gerald Brown is having himself a game here this afternoon. He's already got a pick. Cut underneath that one. He's been in great coverage and making it very difficult, closing those windows quickly on Kevin Glenn. 3rd time an All-Star. He has an interception in this first half. And there's Billy Parker, who had interceptions in each of the Grey Cup games in 09 and 2010. Gilliard, into Lion territory, 54-yard line, and Keenan Parker pushed him out, but there's enough time on the clock for the Alouettes to add to their lead here. I wonder much to get into field goal range. Excuse me, Suits.
Yeah, I wonder, Chris, if this is the opportunity for Jonathan Crompton. What he's been doing is going with that ride and decide, where he fakes the ball to Brandon Rutley, tries to freeze the linebackers in Elimimian and Big Hill, and then throwing slants to S.J. Green and Duran Carter. Now, the progression of that for Crompton, and it would be a good time right now with 42 seconds left in the half, is a double move. Rather than run a quick slant, run the slant and then head it straight up the seam. See if he tries to take a shot deep.
3 receivers on the wide side. He looks that way. Got cleared out for Brandon Rutley. Taken down quickly. There's Ryan Phillips trying to rebound and Tackle in the flat with 36.3 to go.
I guarantee you Ryan Phillips is going to go in the locker room and apologize to his teammates, and he's going to tell them that he's going to make something happen in the second half. But the key to this offense has really been Brandon Rutley. It's been through the play action, the ride and the side play, and him running the ball successfully.
Fake to Rutley. Crompton going to throw that away. The heat was on. David Bernard was in the area.
And there you go. That's a good decision. Quarterback in just his 11th start.
Speaking of decisions, 3rd and 3, 28 seconds to go, and there was a little hesitation there.
You got Tim Brown back if you're going to attempt a long field goal, and it misses. It's a little breeze to start this game. Not really much right now. The flags on the goalpost pretty much dead.
Man, enough time that if you're stopped on 3rd and 3, maybe you're giving the Lions an opportunity to get some points back. So 12-point lead. They stay conservative. They do have an onside man here as they kick it into the corner, and Brown will field it there and step out just beyond the 10. So you got 20 seconds left. You're deep in your own zone. Not much has worked in the first half. Do you just run the clock out to regroup at halftime?
I'd still like to see him take a shot. Probably not in this scenario with 19 seconds to go, but sooner or later they're going to have to get guys like Gerald Brown and Billy Parker to loosen up their coverage a little bit. And the only way you do that is you get Manny Arsenal and Ernest Jackson to just take off, run down the field, take a shot, even if it's incomplete. Right now, the secondary is winning for the Ticats, or for the Alouettes.
Yep. Arsenal wide out, but they hand it off inside. Just a little room for Logan up to the 18. Second and 2.5. Clock running, and this will do it. Rod and the boys standing by. And the knee down. First half over. Not much done offensively for the Lions. And touchdowns for S.J. Green and Duron Carter for the Alouettes. 15-3 leaders, halftime, Eastern semifinal. Here's Rod Smith.
All right, Chris, back inside our CFL studio, joined by Milt.
C14, he said, well, I'll use all the quarterbacks we have at our disposal if I have to. Whatever it takes to win. I'm wondering if he's contemplating a switch.
Kevin Glenn was lifted at halftime last year in the Western final when he started for Calgary.
Not that it's all been on Glenn.
No.
In the first half. Bad penalty by Ryan Phillips. Turned into 7.
But it is hard to get a read on what might happen based on the activity at the Lion bench. It'll be Montreal with the ball first to start the second half. And Gilliard on the return brings it just across the 30-yard line. Ronnie Yell on the tackle. Jonathan Crompton heated up at the end of the first half and hit the 1-2 punch in the end zone.
Yeah, dropped their first 2 passes, but got in a groove after that. 5 catches for S.J. Green and the touchdown. Duron Carter had a couple 18 yards and a touchdown. So the 2 Eastern All-Stars at receiver starting to get going.
First and 10 into the hands of Rutley. A little stutter step and nothing opens up as he's brought down after a short gain. Brandon Rutley had a little CFL experience, was with the Hamilton Ticats 2 years ago, had a touchdown catch in the Labor Day game against the Argos. This year, not much. 1 carry, 6 yards against BC, was released, then brought back with the injuries, first to Brandon Whitaker and then Terrell Sutton, but looks like he belongs, doesn't he? Second and long, Crompton throws, and Green reached back to make the catch with Ronnie Yell in coverage. Sixth catch of the game for S.J. Green.
And that's why he was voted the best hands in the game by his peers. This is a dig route from the left side of your screen. He's going to have to go behind him, reach back, and try and bring this one in from behind in a tight window there. Two Lion defenders, and S.J. Green comes up with the catch.
So the Alouettes have converted 8 to 15 second down situations. Again, not much on the ground as Alex Bazzi closed from his defensive end position.
Alex Bazzi's seen enough of the ride in the side where Crompton has always given the football or thrown it. He hasn't done that fake and then taken the football and run with it outside. So Bazzi says, okay, if you're going to keep doing it and either handing it to him or just throw it, I'm going to go ahead and just make the play on the running back. He cuts in there in a hurry.
It suits a little different alignment here as Eric Taylor lines up at end and Bazzi's inside.
40, right in the middle.
Not sure we've seen that. In trouble. Underneath it goes. Delorier, first down. Eric Delorier stopped by Adam Bighill, a late flag.
It's going to be a leg hit on J.R. LaRose. And Jonathan Crompton makes this play because he extends it with his legs. If he doesn't do that, Alex Bazzi's in the throwing lane. Chris, the reason they changed
Major
it up.
foul, unnecessary roughness. BC number 27. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The reason they changed it up, they put Eric Taylor outside and Bazzi inside, is because they were going to drop Bazzi into coverage. So they drop him from inside into coverage, and he is actually underneath the target, Delorier. But because Crompton buys a little time, Delorier is able to extend the route, get to the sideline, and get the completion.
So they've converted twice on second and long in this drive. Back in the hands of Rutley. And another good run for Brandon Rutley down to the 28.
The BC Lions better cut these penalties out, these late hits, these bad penalties after the whistle, or this game's going to be over in a hurry. A late hit from J.R. LaRose, and you've got to believe that Mike Benavides talked about this at halftime. 3 major fouls today, 15-yarders against the BC Lions.
318 yards and penalties the last 3 weeks. Rutley bounces it outside. Brandon Rutley down to the 20 as another Alouette first down.
It really has started with him, Chris. It really has. I mean, whether it's the play fake to him or getting him running between the tackles, the offensive line now, that all-Canadian group up front for Montreal, they're starting to impose their will on a good D-line. Look at that block on Alex Bazzi. He's not able to get contained. He's been trying to squeeze it on those interior runs a little bit, and that time he got caught inside, and Rutley bounced it on him.
Best looking drive of the game for the Alouettes, and Rutley's got more as he spins down off contact to about the 12, and Elimimian talking to the sidelines about an adjustment you might expect that he's looking for, because right now Montreal's getting a lot of success.
Well, they're getting an offensive lineman out on Elimimian. That was Ryan Baum, and he was able to get to the second level. Both these coaches talked about that yesterday. If we can get our linemen on the good linebackers, we got a chance to run the ball.
7 for Rutley. 2nd and 3. Back in Rutley's hands. First down, and down to about the 3-yard line.
Well, now Jeff Parrott, double nominee in Ryan Bauman. They're starting to get it done up here. I mean, there's 2 guys, that right side of the line that Montreal is working. They get a little help from Luc Rozier-Dojan in the middle. And Rutley doesn't have to make anybody miss at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't get contact till he's well into the secondary.
Bighill saves the touchdown. Jeff Parrott, by the way, top offensive lineman, top Canadian from Montreal. Not selected an all-star, which is
a head-scratcher.
Yep. Looks like an all-star today, though, doesn't he? Keeper, Tanner Marsh. Touchdown, Montreal. a snow angel, even if there isn't any snow.
Alouettes just won the line of scrimmage in this drive. Start to finish, Brandon Rutley got things going. He was the focal point of the drive. Tanner Marsh finishes it. But the drive is won by the O-line.
What an opening drive, second half. Imposing their will, 10 plays, 78 yards in just under 5.5 minutes. White adds the extra point. And the Alouettes celebrating a big 19-point lead early, second half in Montreal.
Tackles onto linebackers. Christian Matt, left guard for the Montreal Alouettes, gets on Solomon Elimimian. And the same can be said for Bombin right there on Adam Bighill. You get big on linebackers, your running back has a chance. And that was the all Brandon Rutley drive.
Rutley with 40 yards rushing in the first half, had 32 on that drive. Tim Brown on the return. Harold Townsend the tackle.
So he's off balance when he's going back.
Drive one in the trenches, all Canadian offensive line, and all 5 of them have only played at the professional level with the Montreal Alouettes. All veterans of at least 5 years. They got it done on that last drive.
And the only all-Canadian offensive line. So the Lions have to make things happen, and they start with another pass to Sean Gore out in the flat, up at the 41-yard line for Gore, and a gain of 8.
Playoffs, things happen fast. They've got behind now. The Lions got to change their game plan. They started out wanting to establish Stephon Logan. Can't forget about him completely, but now they really got to push the ball.
Double tight ends on 2nd and 2. There's a first down. Driven back when he hit the 45, and Bear Woods in to make a tackle.
Boy, he has been a difference maker in this 8-2 stretch. Finalist for Defensive Player out of the East, stepped up in that hole, and Stephon Logan had enough for the first down, it looked like.
Got John Bowman shaking up on the play, getting attention. And while he is attended to, we will step out midway through this third quarter.
Take a look at the injury here to John Bowman. He's trying to get in on the tackle on Stephon Logan, twists around and goes down awkwardly, grabs his stomach or the side of his body right away. And they've helped him off to the sideline. The active leader in sacks and the leader for the Owls this season with 12.
9-year vet, didn't miss a game this year. First down for Kevin Glenn. Crosser, Ernest Jackson. And at midfield, puts his head down, lowers the boom. Ends up with a first down in Montreal territory and 13 yards.
You really get the feeling, because Kevin Glenn has not been able to stretch the ball, that the Lions, if they're going to come back, are going to have to come back with yards after the catch. So a lot of these crossing type routes get into the hands of their big playmakers, Ernest Jackson, Emmanuel Arsenal, and let them do the rest.
Alouette defense with guys like Cox and Venable and Kyrie St-Pierre get around in a hurry, but there's Logan with another good carry on first down, so they don't abandon the run, and they've got another drive being mounted here, a second down and short situation in Montreal territory.
Well, good play call there on first down to cross up the Montreal Alouettes, but they got to finish this drive. You almost wonder if they're going to start playing 3 down early.
Scott Paxson just checked in on that defensive line for the Alouettes. Fake to Logan, a pump, and an open man, but Bear Woods, interception. And what a play by Woods to steal the ball. It looked like Glenn had a man open, but Bear Alouettes had other ideas. Well, the Alouette All-Star middle linebacker makes a play of his own, and a big one.
It's Eastern All-Star. Watch him step up here like he's going to take the run first and then quickly redirect, get back underneath this throw from Kevin Glenn. Never sees him. Bearwood steps up, still has the speed to drop out of there, goes right to the spot, gets his hands on it, and then catches his own tip. Big play by the Eastern All-Star.
The Alouette team led the league in takeaways during the regular season. Here's Gilliard on the jet sweep, across midfield, and tackled by Elamimian. A matchup of the top 2 defensive players in the league. And Bearwoods put his stats together in 12 games and compare that with the record setting of Elamimian, and it's a lot closer than you might have expected.
Yeah, their last 12 games. Now, of course, Elamimian finished the season with the CFL record 143 tackles, and Woods, if you project those numbers, would have been at 133, so they would have been neck and neck down the wire.
2nd and 3, Rutley up the right side, second level, and another big first down for Brandon Rutley, who's starting to take this over. Now 59 second half yards for Rutley on the ground.
Right side of the O-line. That's Parrott, double nominee, and Bauman gets out again on Adam Bighill. Adam Bighill has seen a ton of Ryan Bauman in this game.
Number 64 in his 5th year from Guelph, taking over from the perennial All-Star Scott Flory. First down, and again, Rutley meets up with Elamimian, who says enough of that.
Nice tackle there by Solomon Elamimian, getting fired up and trying to get his teammates fired up, including Adam Bighill. And I'm wondering, Adam Bighill's playing with his hand taped up. Is he's taking a little bit away from his aggression?
I was going to ask you that. Did have the interception negated at the goal line by the pass interference call, but doesn't seem like he's as busy as we're used to.
He's usually beating those blocks by offensive linemen, but Bauman's had his number.
3-man rush, 2nd and 10, and into the corner, looking for Green's got him inside the 5.
Oh boy. He's putting on a show now. It looked like this was going to be intercepted. There were 2 Lion defenders over there. Somehow S.J. Green comes up with it. Has to completely adjust to the football while it's in the air. Great body control from S.J. Green. He's putting on a show.
Seven catches now, 96 yards. 1st and goal. It'll be Rutley. And it'll be a touchdown. Two majors in the 2nd quarter and 2 more here in the 3rd.
Football's the ultimate team game, but it comes down to those one-on-one battles, and right now Montreal's winning more of the one-on-one battles, especially in the trenches.
So happy for you.
4 for 4 in the red zone today. They were 50% during the regular season. 17 for 28 when Crompton took over.
They ready to take their ass home.
But lethally perfect today. Extra point from Sean White. This was not the easy route to the Grey Cup through the East. Montreal making that point very clear this afternoon.
Ryan Bauman, that right guard. Watch how he blocks down on Khalif Mitchell on this touchdown run. Washes him inside. And Brandon Rutley goes right off that block into the end zone. The right side of the offensive line, controlling their men, controlling the line of scrimmage, getting big on linebacker.
So 7 points off the Bear Woods interception. Brandon Rutley, the touchdown, has had a big third quarter. With more on him, here's Matthew Chinetti.
Absolutely, CC. You know, I spoke to Jim Pop before the game to find out who Brandon Rutley actually is, because he spent a lot of time on the Owls practice roster and took first-team reps this week because Terrell Sutton got that ankle injury in Hamilton last week. What Pop told me is all throughout the season, Brandon Rutley is assignment sound. Actually practices, phantom practices all his reps behind the usual starters throughout the season, and this week looked great in practice. But the one thing that Pop said is a watch out for his speed. He's got that home run ability, guys.
Well, he got home there for a big touchdown. There's a flag on the Tim Brown return with under 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
Well, Tom Higgins said to us yesterday that they thought about Chris Rainey, and they said with Brandon Rutley, we've got assignment sound player, understands pass protection, never makes a mistake there in practice, and has the breakaway ability like Matthew just mentioned. But he has been where the focal point of this offense, where it's all started, is when
Major foul.
Run the ball
Face mask.
successfully.
BC, half the distance to the goal, first down.
And then go play action off of it. Mike Benavides' team has just taken another bad penalty.
Travis Partridge will start this series with Glenn on the sidelines. Limited duty for the rookie and everybody offside. Just 9 passes for Partridge during the regular season. John Beck, who has been the backup, suffered a concussion last week and is not with the team.
Interesting, because on the depth chart, Travis Luley.
Offside. BC number 9. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down. Timer, please hold the clock until the snap.
Travis Luley was in the number 2 hole, and Benavides told us yesterday that he would use him if needed, but at 29-3 now, and pretty much a passing every down situation. And a guy with a bad shoulder in is not the best case scenario, obviously.
There is no best case scenario at the moment for BC. But do you take out a veteran guy as much as Kevin Glenn has struggled today for somebody that really hasn't had any significant reps in the league?
Especially when you are talking about Travis Luley in number 2 and having him take some of those reps during the work week. Maybe one series, let Glenn watch for one. You can't let too much of this time run off the clock either.
2nd and 15, another flag, and they'll pull play.
It's completely changed the rhythm too, just the snap cadence, and very different for Travis Partridge. Matt Norman trying to get the snap. That was a little early movement by Valley.
Procedure, BC number 54. Half the distance to the goal, second down. Timer, please hold the clock until the snap.
9-year vet of an offensive line that went through a lot of changes early this year, but has been together now for 7 consecutive games. Good news for the Alouettes. John Bowman back in this defense with that 3-man front. Up from his end zone and tossed to Newton. He was going to put it away, and they'll just have to eat the football as Ernest Jackson. They were going to try a quick kick, get some field position, maybe onside it, but they don't execute that.
Because of how quickly the Owls rallied to this, Vincent Venable is the first guy there. They were trying the quick kick with an onside player to go down and recover it. Anyone behind the kicker is able to recover it, and Iannuzzi was getting hit as he tried to kick it. Gutsy call down this close to your own goal line. First, a low snap from Matt Norman. That's been an issue over the back half of the season, especially the last 3 games. There's 31 for the Alouettes.
giving Montreal the football.
We have a catch and a kick. BC number 9 was no yards. It'll be Montreal's ball, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Jackson wasn't onside behind him. They're saying it was a kick, though.
Well, it was clear that Iannuzzi tried to kick the football, but it did hit his foot, so it's considered a kick and a change of possession.
Well, let's see, because Iannuzzi's right here. He's going to catch that quick hitch. Now, it looked like to me initially that he fumbled the ball and didn't kick it, but if it hit his foot, yes, it did. So that's considered a punt. Ernest Jackson's not onside. He gets the no yards penalty, and the Alouettes get the football.
I was going to ask whether or not that would be considered a kicking motion, but it does look like the foot comes forward, and that's one for the books. You don't see that very often. No challenge. I don't think they got a case anyway. Tanner Marsh, quarterback draw. Reach for the goal line. They're going to mark him down at the 1.
They're going to mark him down. I thought it looked like he may have crossed the line with the ball when he reached out, and I brought it back in quickly because he didn't want to get it knocked out of his hand. But did he cross the plane? No, I don't think he did. I don't think he did. The officials right on the spot, and they got it. Nailed that call.
Alouettes have had 15 plays from scrimmage and run the ball 12 times in this third quarter. 6 for 6, converting on second down. And Marsh for the touchdown, and he's in. So the second touchdown for Tanner Marsh. And the third for the Alouettes in the third quarter. 5 touchdowns today, Suits, against a defense that surrendered only 24 all year, and in 6 games did not allow a touchdown.
Just a bizarre play, though, from Marco Iannuzzi.
And the unraveling continues here in this third quarter.
Ernest Jackson wasn't the onside player behind Iannuzzi, and was sort of halfway through the kicking motion. It was just a bizarre play. If Iannuzzi kicks this with a player behind him, that player can go, and he can go and recover it in behind the secondary. Now, he's got to kick it right now, and I don't even see a player onside here behind him.
No.
So he's trying to kick it to himself past the secondary, barely kicks it 3 or 4 yards. Now, Ernest Jackson doesn't know the special team rule clearly because he can't touch the football, and the ball is turned over to the Alouettes.
Only hope for BC in that circumstance was had it been ruled a fumble and a recovery, but the intent was to punt the ball away, and it's a costly one. Now Tanner Marsh will make a trip to the locker room to get some attention.
He got banged up on that quarterback sneak on first down.
Across the 20, gets tripped up quickly, and Mike Edom has the special teams tackle. And once again, BC not presented with good field position, and looks like this is Travis Partridge's game to wrap up.
I know Kevin Glenn's thrown a couple picks in this one, but you mentioned how few attempts Travis Partridge has had. I don't know, you just throw Kevin Glenn back in there and just, if you have any chance of coming back, and Travis Lulay is clearly not part of the scenario.
No. Partridge has some time, throws low, and incomplete, intended for Arsenault.
you know, I go back to that discussion again, and if Travis Lulay was not available, or did something happen in warm-up or in this first half, or Travis Lulay just say the shoulder was just not loosening up for him? Because when we talked to Mike Benavides yesterday, the word was that if he had to, he'd go to Lulay, and if he was going to do it, he didn't want to do it with a big deficit, obviously, and have him have to stand back there and chuck it every time.
Unless it was all a smoke screen and there was no other option with John Beck hurt anyway. Here's Partridge taking off, and he takes a heavy hit short of the first down at the 35, and the Angry Bird welcomes Travis Partridge to the postseason. There is a flag in the Alouettes secondary.
It was right after the hit, and Partridge was going down, so I'm not sure if the back judge saw a hit to the helmet.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Montreal number 34. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I was wondering about this hit from Kyrus Hebert. Now, Partridge is going down. So whether or not did Kyrus Hebert lead with his face mask and keep his head up and out of it, or did he duck his head and he ducked his chin and hit with the top of the helmet? That's the correct call.
Partridge hands it off and cut down as Logan. He took a heavy low hit from Gerald Brown, who has had quite a day from his defensive halfback position.
He really has. Best player in the secondary. Got a pick. He's been in great coverage, locked down his man. One of the reasons Glenn couldn't find Manny Arsenal. We haven't talked about Emmanuel Arsenal, their leading receiver, in this game all afternoon. That's because he's been matched up on 39, Gerald Brown. And Brown's having himself a game.
The Manny show has been on hiatus. Second down, underneath. Logan's got to make a man miss. And he's dropped at the 50. And it's going to be a yard short of the first down. The offense will stay on the field, considering that they are down 36-3 after 3 quarters in Montreal. What a third quarter explosion for Jonathan Crompton and the Alouettes. For the Alouettes, Brandon Rutley on the ground. S.J. Green's been effective catching the football, and it's a rout.
Both have put on a show. For Rutley, over 50 yards in that third quarter, and S.J. Green in 3 quarters of play, just shy of 100. He's made some tough catches look easy. BC Lions, again, some more penalty issues in that third quarter, and now it's desperation time for them.
In fairness, I didn't hear any BC Lions say it'd be easier coming east, but there was that sense, and if there was, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the East started out so slowly this year. Everyone talked about restructuring the entire league and have just one division, and the East was always so much weaker. Well, they got strong in the second half. Certainly this Montreal Alouette team got stronger as the season went on. 8-2 to finish the year. No, it was not going to be easy coming through the East, and the Lions are finding that out.
3rd and 1 as we start the fourth quarter. And a handoff to Tim Brown, who will have the first down. Big left tackle Andre Ramsey loses his lid on the play, but the Lions maintain possession of the football. Go back to 2011 when BC started 0-5 and may have crept up on some teams when they rallied to go to the Grey Cup. Here's a team they're playing today that started 1-7 and was dismissed by everybody, but I think the league will be taking note of what they're seeing from the Alouettes today in all 3 phases. Partridge the screen, Logan down to the 41.
You know, Tom Higgins, when it was 1-7, said to his football team, let's make it a 10-game schedule. We're starting at 0-0, and let's see if we can finish 8-2. And we joked yesterday because the team did exactly that, 8-2. He didn't want to say 10-0 and be unrealistic, but one of the big reasons they eliminated turnovers. Crompton's thrown just 8 interceptions entire starts in 10 starts. He's controlled the ball very well and has not looked this afternoon like a quarterback in his first start in the playoffs at all. Remember, this is an Alouette team that lost their starting tailback in Terrell Sutton last game of the regular season against Hamilton. That decision was made yesterday. Brandon Rutley has done a great job, and Crompton is just cool and calm on the sideline. When you're 36-3.
Excuse me, when your quarterback's dancing on the sidelines early in the fourth quarter, you know you're in charge. Brian Brakowski, the rookie defensive end's been shaken up. He's getting attention on the sideline, so we'll step out. And some of us are surprised by the lopsided nature of this game. I think everybody expected tight defensive contest, but the dam broke in the third quarter. Trouble here for Partridge. There is a flag as Partridge eats the football back behind the line of scrimmage, and Bear Woods on the scene with Jeff Finley, the rookie out of Guelph. Guelph beaten by McMaster yesterday, and
procedure, BC no end. That penalty is declined. Third down.
So now third and long. All the university football action, a shock across the country, the Laval loss, and that Calgary would turn the ball over 10 times and be defeated by Manitoba.
Well, this is what I mean about if you're this far behind, you're the BC Lions, don't you leave the veteran quarterback in the game. You're still trying to get the snap back to Travis Partridge. They've had cadence issues, young quarterback.
Now he's got to convert on 3rd and 9. Flag flies and plays halted on another false start.
That's what I mean. You know, when you go back to basically your third string quarterback, which has been Travis Partridge's role all season, you're now just trying to get the ball snapped can become a challenge.
Before the snap, we have a timeout, BC.
Okay, the Lions called a timeout. Bear Woods just flew into a pile and went after one of the Lions, and there's the Bear in the middle of it, and all that after they declared that a timeout had been called, but not sure nobody told Bear Woods. The Lions lucky that the timeout saved perhaps a time count for Travis Partridge.
Not surprisingly, Kyrus Hebert has been around the ball again this game this afternoon.
Considering the penalty Ryan Phillips took in the first half, I think the Lions are probably reminding the officials of that little skirmish that just took place. So now they've reset and need 9. Have to get inside the Alouette 38. Dump it underneath, and Logan's not going to get there. Winston Venable tosses him out. Took our camera with him.
Yeah, Winston Venable makes the tackle in the flat. The pressure was coming off the edge from Kyrus Hebert, and it's almost fitting because when Kyrus Hebert went down, it opened up an opportunity for Venable. We've seen him move around, been pretty active in this game as well. That's the hit that Partridge is trying to shake off now is coming from the edge here, and it's going to be Kyrus Hebert. And they've been sort of splitting. They'll both play at times and play a 30 front, 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers, and that's what they did on that second down and held the Lions short.
Well, I know why Jonathan Crompton was dancing now. His day is done. Alex Brink is in. And so is Chris Rady. And a burst. And a foot race. And a Montreal touchdown. Chris Rady, home run hitter. 64 yards.
Montreal is going to play the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the Eastern Final. Hamilton watching this game. They've got the Alouettes. That seals the deal.
piling it on, and 43-3 the lead now. 64 yards for Rady, who goes the distance, and the starting quarterback celebrating every yard of it.
Big Hill, he's been having to take on offensive linemen the whole game, and this time it's right tackle Jeff Parrott, double nominee. He gets up on the linebacker, kicks out Adam Big Hill. Goodbye, Chris Rennie gone.
They were in playoff mode, as Tom Higgins said they were. After the 8-2 finish, the Lions were trying to sell. Brown, nice work on this return, and look out! He's been sprung, and Tim Brown will give BC finally something to cheer about. Chip Cox denies the touchdown, but a return to the Montreal 12.
Chip Cox. I mean, this is why he's a former outstanding defensive player. The game is out of hand, a 40-point lead. The Lions get a kick return just through patience of Tim Brown, and no one blocks Chip Cox, who hustles and saves a touchdown.
This is the one they'll have in the special teams films this week, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is where you never quit, you never give up, no matter what the score. It doesn't matter. It'd be easy for the Alouettes to shut it down here. Tim Brown's got room. He's got tons of speed. Not Chip Cox. He keeps working.
First time in the red zone for the Lions today. Keto Pobla's got a catch, but there is a flag. 3 weeks ago, we were talking about the best defense in the CFL and one of the best of all time, but they give up over 1,000 yards in their last 2 regular season games.
Offside. Montreal number 31. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Medible offside, and Montreal's put 43 up on BC's defense today.
Boy, Chip, you're talking about a 4-time All-Canadian. Last year's outstanding defensive player on the teams this deep in the game with a 40-point lead. And he keeps hustling, ran about 60 yards to track down Tim Brown from behind.
First down, another flag, and a pass to the end zone out of the reach of Ernest Jackson. Couple of flags down.
Too many men. Montreal. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
The way it's gone for the Lions today, they might feel like that's been the case more than just that play. But back-to-back Alouette penalties, and now first and goal at the 3. And some movement there on the left side of the offensive line. It's like Cam Thorne that leaned forward.
Procedure, BC number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Yeah, Thorne, the rookie, offensive lineman lined up at the tight end spot. Moved prematurely. And that gets them into triple figures for the 4th consecutive game.
And some bad ones after the whistle.
Logan fumbles, and they're going to add more points. It's going to be Gerald Brown escorted to the end zone. And the Alouettes are going to get to 50 with the point after.
Didn't see who caused the fumble, or did Stephon Logan just put this on the ground himself? Gabriel Knapton in on the tackle. Looked like he pulled it out. And, you know, when you're having that great game and you're in that zone that everyone talks about, the ball just seems to find you, and that's Gerald Brown right on it again.
5th fumble recovery of the year. 3 have come against BC, and he jogs 103 yards for a touchdown. Wasn't it 1-0 after 1 quarter? There it is, 50 on the board. And the Lions have now been outscored 120-23 in their last 3 games. 35 unanswered second half points for the Alouettes.
That's what I believe in. Hey, but
yeah, the old guy still got it.
I know you don't know how to count to 50 and
33-year-old Gerald Brown's had quite a day. Squib kick. Tim Brown not going to get loose this time. Might need him. Jeff Finley down in a hurry.
33 years old. But like he said on the sideline, if you didn't make it out, Gerald Brown said, you're only as old as the tape shows. And for 39 in this game this afternoon, tape shows an all-star, getting it done.
Yeah, he can put his signature on this game, can't he?
Absolutely.
Well, usually when you're down in the 4th quarter of a big game like this, the clock just seems to go too fast, but I'm not sure that's the case for the Lions now. Partridge takes another hit.
And you know, I know there's a ton of Lions fans saying, hey, the way that first half went, halfway through the 3rd quarter, why not throw Partridge out there, see what he can do? But that play that was just run, we've seen the cadence issues, getting the ball snapped, and watch this. I mean, when you put your 3rd-string quarterback in, I mean, stuff like that happens. Again, it's easy to sit up here and second guess and take a look at things like that, but I might have just rolled with Glenn and lived to die by him and see if he could come back and use some of his experience.
Pressure on, look out, down he goes. A bear there, and Jeff Finley, the young defensive lineman who's getting reps.
It goes back to that crossover. We talked about it at the break, that it's happened 8 times. The rule was put in place in 1996 for the crossover. The first one was 97 when the BC Lions crossed over, played right here. That was the U2 concert game, and the reason that the Alouettes moved to this stadium. Lions crossed over and lost that game, and this is the 8th time, and not one Western team has crossed over and got to the Grey Cup.
Here's McCallum. A short kick. Hilliard has trouble with it. They'll call no yards on the BC side of half. Well, you heard at halftime or pregame show, Jock Climbing mentioned that 97 game, and he said the Alouettes knew they were better. I don't think that was the case today.
No, it wasn't. You look at the BC defense.
No yards. BC number 20. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Solomon Elamimian led BC defense. Finalist for outstanding player against Ricky Ray, and an experienced Kevin Glenn, who has led teams to the Grey Cup as recently as 2012, the Calgary Stampeders. And I think when people were trying to figure out who had the edge this game, absolutely home field was an edge, but no one predicted this kind of blowout.
Brink drops the shotgun snap and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
I think the one matchup, Chris, that for me was bigger than most was the front 5 for the Montreal offensive line. I mean, this is Eric Taylor, Alex Bazzi, Kareem Smith, Khalif Mitchell, and mix in Jabbar Westerman. That's a good D line that were fresh, coming off a game where they all rested last week, didn't play against Calgary.
45.
And that O-line for Montreal has moved them.
It has done the job. They swing it out to Rutley. Big Hill will bring him down. Elimimian finishes him off and pumps him up.
And I'm not going to give an excuse for Adam Big Hill. He wouldn't want me to. But he was not the same. He was not the same today. I mean, he is always fast to the hole, great run stopper, had a tremendous season, 77 total tackles, which is a great year. I know it's not in comparison to Solomon Elimimian's 143, but no one was. That's a CFL record, but Big Hill was not the same.
Unaccounted for, and now White will kick it away. Even there, the Lions were wary of maybe a gadget play on and a throw out in the flat. James Tuck gets down in a hurry to make the special team tackle, and a flag down with under 7 minutes to go.
No yards. Montreal number 38, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Dominic Ellis called, no yards. And Eskimos, the Western Semi coming up. Folks in Asheville, North Carolina, pretty happy about their guy today. Jonathan Crompton leading his team into the Eastern Final next week. Partridge the crosser. Ernest Jackson's got it. Bear Wood stuck with him until help arrived.
Jackson with and Parker on a tackle. Playing in is sent down.
Lions added Jordan Rogers, Aaron Rodgers' younger brother, to their practice roster in the last few weeks, and he'll be challenging to get in the mix next year with the likes of Partridge. Paxson unable to bring him down, but flags fly, and
he tried to throw it to Andre Ramsey.
Yeah. He's a big target. He's just not eligible.
Well, behind Andre Ramsey was Stephon Logan, and I'm not sure if Partridge saw Logan or...
Ineligible receiver, BC number 69. That penalty be declined. Third down.
I guarantee you, if it was right in the line of fire, Stephon Logan was hidden behind 6'5", 320-pound Andre Ramsey. See how he sneaks out in behind him? He's right in line. And Partridge going down just goes, it's a teammate. It's a similar color jersey. I'm going to try and get it to him.
Third down, and I think both teams would be content with straight time now. McCallum's best kick of the day over the head of Chris Rainey. Scoops it at the 12 and gets driven out of bounds by the special team captain, Jamal Johnson. So Alex Brink, who was vying for the starting job.
No yards. BC number 45. It's a 5-yard penalty. It'll be declined. First down.
We're a two-quarterback system. Jonathan Crompton took over. I want to go back to the touchdown early to S.J. Green and watch how Jerron Carter works inside and freezes defensive backs. The reason I want to bring this back up again, because with this split screen, you can see the timing. Now, when Crompton goes to let it go here, from the left of your screen, he looks like the only open receiver is Carter on the under route, but he's got a frozen defensive back. He goes to S.J. Green. I mean, these are decisions made by veteran quarterbacks.
Oh, don't get down on camera.
Alouette fans would expect that over the last 10 years.
Procedure, BC number 59. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down. Timer, please hold the clock until the snap.
Good man.
You expect that when Anthony Calvillo was the quarterback of this team, and they've had to try and find the next one, not from a guy in his first start in the playoffs. And Jonathan Crompton making that split-second decision, a touchdown throw early in the game was huge.
Got some secret stuff going down on the sidelines there they didn't want us to hear.
Mike Benavides said it to me yesterday. I asked him, are you going to pressure a quarterback in his first start in the playoffs. And he said, I'm not sure you can rattle Jonathan Crompton. The one thing I see when I watch him play is that he's calm, cool, composed, he's loose. The receiving core, as Matthew mentioned, in practice this week, went up to Crompton, circled him and said, hey, the playoffs are different. And if there's intensity in the playoffs, and you've got to, and Crompton just looked at all of them and said, guys, I got this. And walked away.
It's going with the flow.
Yeah.
And now, after an 8-2 finish to the season, he'll be 1-0 as a playoff quarterback. Chris Rainey, the run, but it's going to be third down, and the punt team comes on.
Second 15.
But we did their game in Winnipeg in August when we weren't sure who the quarterback was. Alex Brick started that day. After a quarter, he came out. Jonathan Crompton went in, and he's been in ever since until mop-up time here today.
Boy, there's been something to be said about just keeping calm, keeping composed. 1-7, and Tom Higgins didn't panic.
Tim Brown at midfield. And dropped at the Alouette 45, just over 3 minutes left. Partridge will finish. And Travis Lulay, only to see action in the game against Ottawa this year that knocked him right back onto the disabled list. We can only hope that shoulder heals up completely in the offseason, and we get a chance to see the MOP caliber quarterback he is next year. Well, Logan, been the Lions' best player today on offense, and he springs that like eatable. Track him down inside the 15. 32-yard run for Stefan Logan as we hit the 3-minute warning, but even with that much time left, the celebration has been on for some time in Montreal. Thank you, Rod. Stefan Logan just ran.
We're going to shake hands after.
Into the red zone for the Lions. He's at 98 yards on 12 carries today. Hits the ball again. That's Tim Brown with the nice shift, and Brown crashing down around the 7-yard line. But it's been another great defensive performance for Noel Thorpe's crew today.
It has. We haven't talked a lot about John Bowman. He was injured, came back in. Defensive line did their job, but the guys in the back end, Kyrus Hebert had a great game, and Gerald Brown was the all-star in that group, and I love the play made on the teams by Chip Cox.
2nd and 5. Brown stays in with LaBella. Fake to Brown. Partridge rolling into the end zone, and a touchdown. Sean Gore's got the catch.
Lots of time for Partridge on the edge here. A little play action fake, and Sean Gore takes his time, comes all the way back to the corner, and only need 1 foot yet, too. Not going to make a difference.
And that's the way to celebrate when you score.
Yeah.
And are still going to be down by 40. Not the most lopsided game I've had to do in the postseason. They're being reminded of the '96 game. The Eskimos on an icy field beat Winnipeg 68-7. They'll go for 2. And Logan's going to get there. So it's 50-11 for the Alouettes. Winnipeg beat Hamilton 59-11 in a playoff game in '92. But this one of the more lopsided in playoff history.
Hang on that 2-point cover, Marc-Olivier Brouillette had to pick up Stephon Logan out of the backfield. Just kind of lost him. There's Logan right here. And number 10 is going to step up and go, whoa, there goes my guy. And then he tried to get on his horse, catch up, but overall outstanding defensive effort by the Owls.
A lot of veterans on this Lion team, and you wonder with how resounding this loss will be, how many changes there will be. On the return, up over the 40.
Guy who didn't panic, Jim Popp, general manager of this team. He just, at 1-7, a lot of teams are completely revamping and changing, making changes across the board. He didn't. They just had to settle in on a quarterback. Troy Smith started the season. In fact, the 2 games against BC early on, it was Smith at quarterback. They went to a 2-quarterback system, didn't panic there. They went on a road trip where they stayed out west, Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. And it was the Winnipeg loss where Crompton took over, and then he took over the team. Went 8-2, and Tom Higgins got him back on track.
Felt that week out west was a turning point, even though they came home empty-handed, but a new direction. And Tom Higgins took a lot of heat early, but not a kind of guy that would panic, and the Jeff Garcia addition was a significant one. And you wonder if in the future he'd consider being a head coach in the league.
Absolutely he would. In the right circumstances, had that exact conversation with him yesterday, Chris, and given the right circumstances, he would listen to any type of offer like that.
Tanner Marsh at the controls here in a procedure call against Montreal.
He has enjoyed working with all these
procedure. Montreal number 51. 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Remember, he back in California was working with quarterbacks, helped Bo Levi Mitchell take the step to the pro level in Calgary. They'll play in the Western Final. And yeah, he told me yesterday he'd be interested. He's really enjoyed coaching here in Montreal.
Scott Milanovich, John Hupnagel, Ken Austin, quarterbacks, now head coaches. Ron Lancaster, another who made his mark in the game as first a player, then a terrific coach, GM.
I know he wasn't a former quarterback, but, you know, Tom Higgins deserves a lot of credit. At 1-7, there are a lot of people that wanted to make a change. He's hung in there, and, you know, he said to his team at 1-7, after they were named, 11 All-Stars were named after the 8-2 run, and he said, you know, at 1-7, we didn't have any All-Stars. Well, you could see when you start to win games, come together, stay together through tough times, all of a sudden you've got a team full of All-Stars.
Tim Brown, another good return, and Brown outside. What a run by Tim Brown. to the 7-yard line. You just got to admire character, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And you heard Stephon Logan on the bench say, you know, they're not stopping to play football. They've got a lot of pride. Believe me, it's not easy when you're on the wrong end of one of these scores. It's nice to see that the true pro in Tim Brown and his return team getting some blocks for him. Kept working until the final few seconds.
73-yard return. Venable saved the touchdown. There's Chuck McMahon congratulating him. Chuck was head man here at McGill. He's had better days, but give Tim Brown credit there. Passing the end zone. Ernest Jackson got bumped and looks for flags. So it will be Montreal, Hamilton, and there's how they matched up during the regular season.
That was a November 8th game. Last week was a bad weather game. Hamilton outlasted Montreal in that one, and Montreal got the edge in the first matchup in September.
Next week, it's sold out Tim Hortons Field. Partridge now throws end zone touchdown. Ernest Jackson.
Touchdown, Jackson. About to be good.
So a little window dressing for the Lions here.
Partridge gets outside again. That's twice now when he's got outside. He's found open receivers, and it will be an interesting offseason in BC. But the year continues for this team.
And they'll go for two. Keeper, but they'll be stopped short by Gabriel Napton. So Travis Partridge matches the number of touchdown passes by Jonathan Crompton today, but in garbage time in this one.
Yeah, you're playing a little differently defensively when you're up by 50 points.
Going to be a good matchup next week. Ticats and Alouettes.
I heard some of the, when they lost that game last week to Hamilton, that was for first place, and they had a chance. Hamilton locks it up and gets to host and take the bye here. But I heard a lot of guys yesterday saying, we want another shot at Hamilton. They got it. Can only hope the West semifinal following our game is a little tighter. Big addition defensively today was Alan Michael Cash, defensive tackle.
Or as Matt Dunnigan would say, cash money.
Cash money.
And he is money for the Alouettes.
Well, hurt in warm-up.
See you in the hammer.
Hurt in warm-up last week against Hamilton, and Tom Higgins said it was a devastating loss for them going in that game. Well, he'll be back for the rematch next week in the final.
Kick deep from Gilliard. Runs it back to the 45. S.J. Adera the tackle. About a half minute to go. Nine wins in their last 11, and now one win away from another Grey Cup berth for a team that knows its way to the Grey Cup game. The last hurdle is going to be a huge one to get there. But they showed us their credentials today, didn't they?
What does the future hold for Kevin Glenn?
questions on one side, and the winning team provided a lot of answers today.
University of Tennessee getting it done. Matt Dunnigan talked about it before the show, said, hey, give this guy credit. He's 8-2. He's now 9-2 as a starter for this team.
Coach and starting quarterback savoring this one. And Montreal and Hamilton will be interesting next week. The Eastern final matchup is set. Alouettes, Tiger Cats next Sunday. And this one was not in doubt from the middle of the third quarter on. A resounding win for Tom Higgins and the Montreal Alouettes. 50-17, the final score from Percival Molson. So long from Montreal. Let's